All right, welcome everyone for our first Dex Madness update of 2018. The results are in for week one. I'm going to give you a quick recap of each bracket, let you know who's advancing and what we need to be pushing for. So keep in mind, you'll be getting these updates once a week from myself, John Serino here in Overland Park, and Tyler Shanning out of our Omaha office. Tyler will be out this week. I believe he's on a cruise somewhere up in Alaska, but he should be back for next week's broadcast. So once again, let's just kick things off. We're going to go ahead and start with our Hunter division. As we look at the Hunter division in Overland Park, we'll start off Mancuso Mafia with 1.67 points per MC, and then we're going to drop on down to the Capitalists with 2.08 points per MC. And the Good Sellas up in Denver with 2.58 points per MC. And the Sharks of Sales, 3.29. Really put a heavy push on to close out the week. Finally, here's what you're going to look like, what your bracket's going to look like for the four teams that are going to advance from the Hunters in Overland Park. All right, so there you have the bracket. We have some good matchups here. We have our 1-4 seeds. Moreheads are better than one. We'll take on Delk's 30 Dozen. They actually sit right next to each other, so I'm looking for the energy and sales coming from that group, that area of the division this week. And then we have hashtag Infinity with the second seed taking on third seed Red Hot Curry Peppers. And they're only separated by a hallway. So once again, we should have some great activity between our Hunter teams here in Overland Park. And a lot of fun between each group. All right, our next bracket is our account managers. These guys had a great battle this week. The two teams not making it to the second round were Stranger Thrives at 4.75 and the Mighty Geese with 6 points per MC. Let's take a quick peek at the bracket for those advancing and see what it looks like going into week two. All right, there you have it. We're going to have a couple great matchups. Luther's Troopers, the #1 seed, will be taking on Thriving with Big Johnson, followed by the next match with hashtag Battle Ready. Last year's champs will be taking on Get Richmond. So made sure I said it like that instead of Michael Richmond. It's Get Richmond. So great, exciting things for the account manager group here in Overland Park. Moving on to our next bracket, which is our account managers group in Omaha, and then our Denver sales teams. We had some very high scoring in this group. All these teams are some veteran Dex Madness players and Dex Madness teams, so I know they know what it takes up there in Denver and over in Overland Park, or in Omaha. Sorry. So we have our Rainmakers coming in at 5.7. That was the lowest scoring for the bracket, which would have probably advanced in many other brackets as we look forward. But Chuck Norris 6.58. You may not know who Chuck Norris is, but I sure do up in Denver, and I look for them to hit their objective. So here we go. This is what the bracket looks like as we move on to round number 2. All right, so we have some very good matchups here. We do have our top seed Chowda with 8.38 that will be taking on League of Legends. And then our other matchup will be Straight Outta Thompson battling the Super Troopers. So once again, some great matchups here to kick off round 2. And this group here set the bar pretty high when it comes to scoring, especially on the Dex side. Finally, on our Dex side of the bracket, we do have our special teams groups out of Overland Park and Omaha. We had some good scoring in this group as well. We had the Delinquents at 2.27, the Vultures at 2.56, and Game of Thrives just fell a little bit short at 4 points per MC. Let's take a look at what this bracket looks like as we advance from our special team side of things on the Dex side. All right, so we have our male men taking on the Broondock Saints in a second round, week 2, so that should be a good matchup there. And then we also have White's Winback Warriors. Probably should have been White's Winback Cavaliers, but he went ahead and went with the Warriors. But he'll be taking on Wade's World, not to be confused with Wayne's World. I think that's what we're going for there. But great matchup set up for week number 2 of Dex Madness. All right, now finally looking at our YP side of the brackets from our special teams group in St. Louis. We did have a nice scoring round there as well. Smokey and the Chandits came in at 3.63. Team Mind Freak at 5.33. The Barracudas and Pitches Be Crazy 6.14 and 5.50 respectively. So some great scores from those teams. Just missed out on moving on. So let's take a look at what that bracket looks like as we take a look at week number 2. All right, so we have Team Bro with 9.50 so far, our highest scoring team in the first round there. They'll be going against the Young Guns at 6.2 for the week. Next, we have Paper Chasers, and those Paper Chasers will be looking too much to Randall, as that matchup takes place in week number 2 out of our special teams in St. Louis. All right, for our St. Louis new business acquisition folks, Hunters, Inbound, as well as Winback, we have a solid group here as well. We did have Mean Green VV Machine at 2.18 points, Connie's Closers at 3.73, and then the Kingsmen at 4, and Thurbalicious at 4.56. So let's take a look at what their bracket looks like, see who's advancing from there, and look at some of those matchups. So as we get to take a look at the matchups out of our St. Louis office for our new business acquisition folks, we do have a week 2 matchup of Hogan's Heroes, who will be taking on Old Dirty Bechards. Hopefully I got that right, almost slipped out the wrong way. Then we do have Potluck Pete and Meet the Robinsons in a head-to-head matchup. I'm guessing these teams don't sit too far apart either over there in St. Louis, so we should have some solid sales coming out of all of St. Louis between the special teams and our new business acquisition folks. All right, heading into Birmingham, we do have our account managers with some Hunter teams out of the Birmingham location, with our Saturn group as well in there. Another pretty well scoring round for these folks. We did have at 3.9 La Familia, and then Thrivey Lee with 3 points. Sorry, Ivy. Then we had Tally and Up the Money 4.27, and Dan Near Perfect 4.77. So some decent scores. Remember, everybody still has a shot to hit their targets to get some prizes and some time off. Let's take a look at what that bracket looks like heading into week 2. All right, week 2 is set up for the Spartans, 7.89 points, versus the No Names at 4.86. So 2 Hunter groups going head-to-head. And then What the Zek will be battling out with Not Fast, Just Furious, and Joe Chavez and the Saturn group. So, some great matchups, some diversity in this region. So we're looking for some good selling this week from this group. All right, finally, last but not least, let's take a look at the Shut the Friends Up bracket out of our Birmingham location. Some good scores here. We had the Taliban at 3.58, and the Inglorious Bradsters, once again, almost slipped there, but 4.92. So some good team names there. Let's take a look at what this bracket looks like, who's advancing, and what these matchups look like. All right, our first matchup, It's All Wood, will take on the Uni Bombers. For those on the deck side, those are actually like shadow items, those unis, so not to be confused with the Unabomber. So here we go. We do have Pitch Please and Kiss Our Heineman. So once again, some very creative names coming out of all of our locations. We're looking forward to a great week number 2. Keep an eye out for more of these videos throughout the incentive. Share your successes with everybody through some shout outs to your division, and hopefully your directors can get those out to everybody. We need everybody to rally together, kind of row the boat in that same direction, keep things moving, thrive, flagship product, use our Join Me's. Those 2 things should get us our NNI targets that we're pushing for. So good luck to everybody on hitting those individual incentives. And hey, if you're eliminated, throw out a challenge to another team that might be eliminated as well, within some guidelines there, maybe a lunch, a breakfast, something like that. Have a little fun, but continue to push and continue to drive. Everybody, good luck.